It said it wanted to still do it at the same bit rate, so I guess we'll just have to accept the bit rate for what it is. Get this point a little bit finer here. Are we back? See you, Dom. I'm gonna make. I think I'm gonna make another leaf from complete nothing, and then I am going to possibly make a little asp, a little snake. I could make one from a rasp, but I might try some from this stock I have here. I got a pretty good amount of this stuff. I was hoping the mute button would work for me to. Let's see where the mute button is even on this thing. Can you guys still hear me? Mic check. Okay, so the mute button is useless. Let me hit it again here. Maybe do I have to hold it? Nah, it looks like it's still working. What a joke. Loud and clear. All right. Well, then I'll just mute it over there before I go grinding anything. Thank you, Tom. I need a 10-gallon hat. That's funny. We might actually. Nah, it's a little too short. All right, so maybe about. How loud's that hammering? Is that at least a little bit more tolerable with the mic? See you, Dom. Thanks for hanging out. Oh, it really isn't doing that bad? That's good. I mean, that's the main thing I was hoping the mic would do. I know Dom was saying last time, and I rewatched back some of the videos, and I saw that it was. I heard the hammer was quite loud, so I was hoping that might have fixed it a little bit. This leaf might end up being a little longer than I initially intended. That's actually going to be pretty decent size. Yeah, I think we'll work on the snake. So I'm going to mute for a second here because I'm going to do a little grinding. How was that? That should have been much better. Much more palatable. I'll set that guy down there for now. Get that back in some heat. Zoom in on the triceps. Yeah. Actually excited to try out making this snake, the asp. I had the page bookmarked too here. Yeah, here we go. I'll borrow one of Emrad's plants. Yeah, kind of exactly how I thought it was going to go too. Let's start heating up this other piece of metal here too, so we can do them both. Yeah, I think it's going to be cool. Kermit the Frog. Kermit the Frog here, attempting to do some more blacksmithing. Currently, we are in the process of making another leaf. We want to do this because I want this to just be so ingrained in my head that I don't even have to think about it anymore. Nice, easy steps. We're also going to be working on a little snake, which is in the forge currently. This one looks almost more like a feather. Could actually make it a feather if I textured it up a little bit. A little slab more of the texture. Slab more of the texture on there. All right, so for our snake here, let's get this guy out of here. Let's get him a little hotter. What's it want us to open with? Half face blow. Yeah. And it wants it on the sharp edge of the sharper edge of our anvil. So over towards here's where my sharper edges are. Yep. All right. Yeah, and then just a taper. Okay. We can do that. All right, we do need tongs. All right, so leaf we're going to put down for now. I want to do a little more work on this snake. Let's switch over to our smaller hammer for this stuff. This it's not crazy thickness here. Yo, Caddy. Welcome in. Hope you're doing well. So what we can do here to avoid having to go back to the tongs is I can just dip this end part that I'm grabbing with my hand back in the water, keep ourselves from getting our hands too hot. Although we're not really getting that hot. What we're going to do is start rounding out this little spot. Kind of give us a little more separation on the head here, it looks like. We are getting a little hot on the backhand here, so we're going to give this a little more water time here. The heat obviously travels up as we go, so we might switch to our tongs in a minute. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much straightforward from there. Shape up his head. And then kind of start to make the head difference and shape the body however we want. His head's going to be a little long. I could tell by the pictures. I went a little longer on his head than what we needed. That's okay. I'm going to start making his head here. I could change off this page here. We can even take our crossbeam here and kind of get this part a little more out from the rest of it. Yeah. That. Give him a little bit of a schnoz here. Okay. It's coming out pretty cool. I grab myself some water. Now what's next? We're going to bend the body down a little bit. I guess we'll make a tail. I guess making a tail will forge a nice taper on the other end. So yeah, before we bend the head, we'll make sure we got the shape we want, and then we'll switch to the other end here and make the tail. Yeah, I like this. This is pretty cool. Just doing a little more tapering on the neck here. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to cool this down. So I can grab that end. Then we're going to heat up the other end so we can make the tail. He might end up being a bit, let's see, if we bend ourselves ahead here, we could probably chop off a little bit of this, but we'll see. If it's too long, yeah, might be a little too long. I'm going to take a little off. We'll leave it on. Why not? It'll be a long-bodied snake. Right? That's the cool stuff about this, is we can do whatever the heck we want. We'll make the snake be a nice long-body snake. He'll be long-body snake. Right? Looks like we're still getting a little choppy here. Is it staying that choppy, or is it just occasional? It's hard to tell. But we'll keep going. So we're going to switch back to my bigger hammer for this next part. I don't know what got on my horn here. Some sort of sap or something. Maybe it's coming out of the handle. So here we're just going for drawing out. I was going to square up the end here and then start drawing this down to a point for his tail. But every time we're drawing out, we square up first. Here we're just going for drawing out. Let's get everybody back to squared up here as straight as we can. that notch there. Back on some heat. Now I'll have to adjust the bit rate after this stream. It's definitely a little bit off. Maybe we can go down to like 3200 or something. I don't think I can adjust that while I'm on. Can I? Oh, maybe I can. I'll bring the bit rate down to like 3500. See if that does anything. I know if that makes a difference here. We'll have to check. Have to see if we still get choppy. Luckily, my phone's delayed behind what you guys are seeing, so if it is still a little choppy, I'll be able to tell. I'm going to start knocking off these edges, get ready to round this tail back out. Oh, that looks like it might have helped. It's still a little choppy. Yeah, it got a lot choppy there. Yikes. I mean, what's a good bit rate? Is 20, do you think 25 is too low? Like 2500? I'm not an expert in this at all, so I'll try 25. I think 25 is normally what I do like games and stuff at. Let's see if that helps any. All right, so we want to keep rounding on this tail a little bit. The heat from this thing is starting to travel up here, so I'm gonna have to give her a little cool once I knock most of this out. The heat's starting to come up to here. That's a fly that just landed on me. Get out of here, bug. Poke myself in the face with some hot steel while I'm getting the fly off me. Okay. I'm down to 25 right now. I'm hoping this is still better than the phone. I'm hoping the headset helps. Headset seems to be drowning out some of the heavier hammer sounds. The old slap chop set. The $29, sorry, actually, I think this was $19 on Amazon because I am the absolute skinflint. I'm not cheap. I'll get this tomato back to the kitchen before it spoils. It's an absolute skinflint. A little more heat. on the thicker part here. I'm not going to make this tail have a tip because the kids are probably going to want to play with this thing. I don't need them stabbing each other with the snake. All right, so now we got to get this back in here. Oh my God, is that just my trying to peek at the chat to make sure I'm not missing anything? I thought about turning on the text to TTS or whatever, but I don't think I need to do that. All right, so now I think I already know what I'm doing here, but I'm just going to consult the oracle anyway. Yeah, I'll do a little bend there, and then a little bend up on his head. Yeah. Might draw out a little more body, too. Oh, that's probably good. Yeah, we'll do it this way. I like how this is looking. This is cool. I always get excited at a new project. Learning how to do new stuff's always fun. I got like 10 books of all of these projects to do. So, besides just making tools, I want to make other cool stuff. So I'll do something like that, just to get Mr. Snake looking a little more Mr. Snake. Right? I think that's pretty cool, huh? We'll clean him up a little bit and give him a body. All right, so now we have to heat the body up here. So what I'm going to have to do is I have to do this in segments. He's a lot longer than we need him to be here. So let's see. We're going to knock our brick down, our heat brick. I keep a brick on the back to keep the heat contained in here, but when we want to do longer pieces, we can just feed it through the whole forge. So we'll knock that down and let this guy heat up. I think the rasp snake has more ideas for bending. Yeah, I mean we can get kind of as creative as we want here. That's the one thing about the gas forge that's cool is we can heat up a big chunk. I mean, you could do it with coal forge too, but gas forge is nice. It's easier to deal with. You don't have to worry about burning your metal. So we'll just wait and let this guy heat up a little bit. And we'll probably grab our, I mean, we'd use the hammer too, but we could also grab our big benders. Take a little inspiration from the book, the good book here. Obviously, we can readjust how we're twisted here as we go. Now we're going to start using our tongs because the heat is starting to travel through. Before I go straightening his head out, we'll keep working on the body. We'll have to coil him up to a size that he can fit in our forge, right? Get a little heat. Turn up our forge some. Get a little more of his body heated up. There we go. There we are. Oh, it is. It's finish coming off my hammerhead, I think. Let me just stand her up straight. Let that get nice and hot. See if we can get this to come back around a little bit here. I have to take a little bit of this out, I think. Get him back in the forge. Oh, just let him hit the ground at that point. I'm going to hold this for a minute just to get some of that heat on there. I suppose we could bring him in like that. Yeah, there we go. Viewer bot. Stream boo. Not. I have to turn this mic back on. My headset went on the fritz. Maybe I'm power cycling. Okay, says we're connected. I think we're back. Yep, sounds like we're back in business. Good, good, good. All right, let's fix this snake. I need to open this up a little bit more here. Keeps like disconnecting and reconnecting. I don't know what my headset's doing here. It's having a hard time. Hi, I'm Reg. Can you hear me? I can hear it telling me in the headset when it's disconnecting too, so I'm not sure why it's being a brought up the other mic for now because my headset keeps disconnecting. I'm not sure why. I don't know if there's another device around that keeps trying to connect with it. I don't think so. Weird. Alright, let's keep working on Mr. Snake. See, now it's connected again. I'm probably getting some double audio weirdness. Some double audio madness. Maybe the battery died on it or something. Not sure why it keeps being a butt. It could be. It was working fine for a while. It's definitely easier with the scrolling tongs. And then it connected, it disconnected. It says it's connected. Should be good now. All right, we'll see how long it stays connected. If not, then Emraj is right. We'll just throw it in the forge. Kind of bringing our tail and stuff back to straight here, so we can get some redo these curves a little better because they kind of came out pretty ugly. use our horn. We got all sorts of things we can use here to make our adjustments. We're still connected audio-wise? Yeah, I think maybe we just need to disconnect and reconnect. Teach it who's boss. Is it repeating now? Are we repeating right now? We shouldn't be. Okay, yeah, no, there was two audios on for some reason by accident. I like turned on my other one. So I had the laptop speakers picking up. All right, so I want to bring this guy in a little more. But I also want to start twisting this guy like here. Yeah, something like that.
Comparatively speaking, you are like a grain of sand in the Sahara Desert. Yeah, and I am the entire desert.
My goodness, Alice, with the raid. Thank you so much. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome, welcome. We are in the middle of forging ourselves a little snake for the first time. So you guys can kind of see his little head. I don't know how well my second camera here is picking it up, but right now we're twirling the body apart here. Thank you so much. Welcome, everybody. I am Jahaley64, or as you can see by my current screen name, Sergeant Jahaley64, a retro streamer and also amateur blacksmith. Can we get a close-up of that mustache? 25 years of firefighting service. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you guys so much. Welcome in. So we're currently in the middle of just giving our snake here a little character on his body, giving him some curves. So we're gonna send him back into the forge. How was your stream, Alice? I hope everything went great. I did see look like you were playing some Mario, and then some Mega Man, Mr. Mustache. Yeah, Bago says I look like a firefighter. What do you guys think? Am I ready to go put him out? Put him over my arms here, carry him out of the building? Thank you so much for the raid again. I really appreciate it. He's got a point. Yo, Bloomed, welcome in. Mario smells. Go blacksmith. Yeah, see, Alice gets it. Go blacksmithing. So on an anvil, the anvil's got a few parts. I kind of like teaching a little bit while I'm doing stuff, even though I'm not an expert. But I do speed run, mostly retro games. Yo, Junkyard Dave. Let me see what Dave said here. There is some heavy firefighter vibes, I have to admit. Luckily, if a fire starts due to blacksmithing, I believe you'll be safe. Thank you. I speed run mostly retro games for NES, Super Mario Bros. 3, Super Mario Bros. 2. I think I have some Super Mario Bros. 1, Mario All-Stars, Mega Man X4 for the PlayStation, and Godzilla Monster of Monsters, which is my bread and butter speedrun game. So on the anvil, we have a couple parts here. We have the horn, we have the Pritchard hole, and the Hardy hole for tools, but we're using the Pritchard hole here to assist us in some of our snake body bending. Because if we have these tools, shouldn't we use them? Right? So yeah, let's give this a little more contour here. Okay, and then we can even start bending this tail around a little bit here. Yes, yes, I like where this is going. All right, let's get him back in the heat. Look at this. We're getting ourselves quite the little snake body. All right, let me catch up on chat. Yeah, is party hole a legitimate blacksmithing term? If so, no, hardy hole. Eh? They call the tools. There's a hole in top of the anvil that has a square, and then we have the round one. And the round one goes. They both go right through, but the hardy hole we put in different little attachments like cutoffs and stuff that you can make for your anvil. And then the Pritchard hole is for all sorts of other little things that you need. I misheard that amazingly. Incredible. I have considered learning Mario 64, but there's a lot of time that goes into that game. Uh, I want to pick up Bucky O'Hare again at some point because I really love that game. I just haven't. I've got a lot of stuff going on. So, and I've been enjoying doing these blacksmithing streams. It's a lot of fun. All right, so what I want to do here is I just want to start getting him into a position where his tail is going to start coming back around to meet the rest of him. I mean, I could even start just doing like this. Bring this in. Maybe just do a little more rounding on his tail because he is a snake. He's not some rigid robotic animal. Not an insect. What do you guys think? Maybe open up this little part here a little more? Yeah, Bucky is as S tier as a party hole. Absolutely. Are we looking pretty? Are we looking pretty snakish? Mm-hmm. We can get in front of the Snake-O vision here. We can set him on the anvil too, so we can actually get a gander, see if he sits flat. I like it. I think it's pretty cool for our first snake. What we'll do is, just to keep him, help him stay flat, we put him on the anvil here, and we're going to just give a couple little smacks. We're going to give him one more heat here. We can fit him in the forge. And then we're just going to give a couple smacks to help him sit flat. Thank you, Dave. Yeah, the tighter coil. Yeah, give him a little bit of snake. They're not like perfectly proportionally shaped animals when they're coiled up. Yeah, I think we're gonna do this last heat and flatten them out, and then we're gonna get them over to the vise, and we're gonna hit them with the wire brush. A little bit of filing. There's a couple little areas I wanna touch up. The kids are probably gonna steal them and want to play with them, so I wanted to make sure he didn't have any jagged edges or anything brutal on there. And Alice, if you're still in here, I really do appreciate that raid. Thank you so much. It's been nice being able to get back on Twitch and see everybody and be around be around pals more. I was on a long break for a while. These blacksmithing streams have been bringing me back around. Age of Empires 2 has brought me back around too. All right, we got some good heat. Let's go ahead and get him on here. We're just going to set him flat. Just going to see if he needs anything. He doesn't really need much, actually. He's pretty much right where we want him. Now we can kind of like hold this part here and bring this down a little bit. Maybe give this a little strike down there. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's good. Look at it, got a nice piece of scale. It just came off him. I like the scale sometimes, how it makes things look. All right, so.
Oh, yeah!
Master Raz Conics. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Master Raz Conics. Thank you so much for the follow. All right, so we're going to shut down the forge. Because we don't need it on right now. No sense in burning propane. And we're going to bring him over to the water. Give him a little quench. Oh, yeah, I hear that sound. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but it's good every time. I said it right. Appreciate it. Did you come over with the Alice raid, or did you just find us here on Twitch? Either way, I very much appreciate it. Oh yeah, you're from the raid. Cool. I forget that the chat tells you that. I'm old, so you guys will have to bear with my lack of understanding things. All right, so first I want to take my file, and he's got a little burr on his nose here, and it's little, so I don't have to do like the prettiest work here. But this is from when we first got him going, when we made the shape of his head. Look at that. Let's just take those down a little tighter. A confident chicken? Yes. You are amongst friends and family here. I have been an Alice follower since she very first started streaming. I'm not as active in Twitch chats as I used to be, but I have been around at least for a while. Yeah, so all we're doing here is just cleaning off these sharp edges on here. Don't want to have any accidents with Mr. Snake poking somebody. And his head's about the only place that we had anywhere that was slightly sharp. All right, now we're gonna get out our wire wheel. We're gonna give him a little bit of wiring. Yeah, I used to be more active in Twitch chats, but I took a pretty big hiatus taking care of some family stuff. I don't know how loud this is going to be. If this is too loud, just let me know in chat. Normally this thing's not too bad. Hammerhead, are you still in here? This wire brushing's just cleaning up the dullness on it, taking off some of that scale. I like the little shine it gives too. I'm a big fan of the wire brush shine, for sure. In the AC room, the laundry room, I believe my can of clear coat is in there. Could you bring that out when you get a moment? I don't think I put it back in the garage because of the heat. All right, flip them over and get the other sides that we missed here. Probably get a little more thorough on these things that I need to, but I can't help that part of my brain that says, you got to keep going, man. Look at this. We almost made it the perfect size for our wire brush to fit right through. Oh, thank you. We got our clear coat. Thanks to MRAG. All right, take a couple peeks here. We gotta get the backside here is looking a little rough. All right, let's take a peek and see how we're looking. The shine that always comes from when you do the from when we do the wire brushing. I love it. That's pretty cool. Body came out pretty good and smooth. I do all this with not much filing and much sanding. I like just trying to do as much of the work with the hammer as I can. So what we can do now is I have my little, I guess we could just do it right on my big stone here. I got a little stone on the ground. You can see how cool our leaf is. This leaf is looking more like a feather, I think. But I'm going to set him on our little stone here and hit him with a little bit of the clear. I don't know how much of that you guys will be able to see in the camera. But all these things that I make on stream, I like to post in my Discord. So if you're curious about seeing the finished products, pop on in. Exclamation mark Discord can bring you in there, and there's a little blacksmithing tab. If not, I usually show them on the next stream that I do. Here, we'll get our camera, a little camera angle on some freshly clear coated snake. Very cool. I'm very excited with how that came out. But yeah, this leaf thing I was working on here kind of ended up looking more like a feather. But that's not bad either. There's nothing wrong with learning to do more things. But yeah, I think I'm going to cut it there. I appreciate you guys being here. Let's see who we can send you guys over to, since it's almost dinner time for me. Anybody got any raid things they want to go see? Any targets? I don't see any of our usual pals online currently, and I'm not going to raid Mitch's variety stream channel. So, if not, we'll just pick. Yes, Dave. The return to Bucky O'Hare will hopefully be swift. Um, hmm. Let's see if there's any other blacksmith people on, and the makers and crafters. Oh, it looks like it's just me right now. All right, well then I will send you over to. Hmm. I don't know. I don't have any good targets here. Da 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 da. Yepezu's playing. Thanks for streaming. Yeah, thank you. Yepezu is playing some Zelda. So why don't we go over and say hi? He's speed running some. It looks like he's just practicing Zelda 2, maybe. So we'll go over and say hi to them. Shock and awe. Whoa, you know what? We can do that too. Castlevania 1. I think I have time to cancel my raid, don't I? Yeah. Let's do that. Raid Shock. And I'm old here, so give me a minute. And awe 0305. Okay. And let me type them into my chat so I can be there when we go. All right, Dave. We're taking your suggestion. Good Southern dude. Well, I'm in Georgia, so I'm originally from Connecticut. I don't think I classify myself as a Southern dude anymore. I guess I am a Southern dude, but all right, guys. I'll have pictures in the Discord of the snake when it's finished. Thanks for hanging out. Take it easy.